In this video, I'm gonna finally teach you the difference between chop, dice, and mince. Let's get into it. So my preferred knife when it comes to chopping, dicing, and mincing, I really go back and forth between the 7-inch Santoku and the Petite Chef. They just give you a really comfortable length, and it's perfect for the rocking and chopping. We also have our larger French Chef, our smaller Petite Santoku, and our veggie knife, aka the veggie cleaver. Any one of these could actually be utilized for this job, and again, for this one, I'm simply gonna use the 7-inch Santoku. There's gonna be 4 main cuts. The first cut is going to be called a rough chop. Remember, what we're gonna do is pinch the knife right up on the blade. You can control it, easy controlled there, and use that rocking motion. With this, we get some of these big cuts. To be honest, rough chops is really nothing more than just some bigger cuts, and these can be really good for soups and stews. Next, we're gonna get a little bit smaller. And to do something a little bit smaller, we're gonna go with something called just your standard chop. For something like a carrot or a sweet potato, you always wanna have that flat edge that you're cutting on. For here, you're gonna go with something maybe about the size of the tip of your fingernail, or the tip of your finger. So just think about something maybe about a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch size. To get to that, you're really going to be making these little strips that you're cutting into, and then just simply cross cut. Now, having evenly cut food not only makes your food look better, and yes, that does matter, but 2, it's gonna allow you to cook more evenly. Now, this chop style and size is gonna be what you're gonna be using about 95% of the time, as this is gonna be for salsas, this is gonna be for salads, and so on. Now we can always go a little bit smaller, and to do that, we're just gonna do a little bit finer cuts. So as you can see here, I'm just using that finger to guide the knife, and instead of making maybe 1 or 2 cuts, I'm actually gonna make 3 or 4 through that through that carrot. What I can do here is layer all of those up right here, and I'm gonna make 2 cuts down the middle here. Now this one's gonna be closer to 1/8 of an inch, about half the size of the main chop. And for something like this, it's gonna be more for like a salsa or more of like a sauce. And again, this is gonna be about half the size of the tip of your finger. One of my favorite features of the 7-inch Santoku is the wide blade that allows scooping and moving to be so simple. No need to be the hero here and do it all in one shot. It's okay to take a couple of scoops to move. Lastly here, we've got something like our mince. And to mince, the biggest thing is to take your chops that you've already been used to and take it from that locomotive style cut and to use that rocking technique. So I'm gonna get us half the way there. Really, you wanna get down to that small, fine, what's called the dice or the fine chop standpoint, where we're at right here, quickly and easily. And then we're gonna put that blade down, put our fingertips on here, and keep moving this knife back and forth until it gets down to the size that we want. This is gonna be oftentimes used more with herbs and garlic to be able to add to things like dressings. Again, for this, it's not gonna be something you're gonna have to be using all that much, but it's important to know if a recipe asks you to mince something, how small you're really going. And with that, you can actually see the difference in size from your rough chop, your standard chop, your fine chop or your dice, and your mince. Thanks for joining us for this video, and if you got anything out of it, make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button, and make sure to share with others. The whole goal here is to make your time in the kitchen as easy as possible and make the time you spend in the kitchen as enjoyable as possible. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, remember, it's not the food that you serve on the table that matters most, it's who you share it with.